to start out with is, let's just assume for a minute that everybody else has the same material. No, they don't, but let's just assume that. So you just, my approach is, make whatever issue that they want to throw at you a non-issue. Let's just assume for the sake of discussion just for a minute. And then you get into the design. And that's your key. Their window, competitor's windows, problem, the solution, whatever it is. And again, the reason that I'm giving you segments of the pieces of the puzzle, if you will, is because you all have different window demonstrations. But you all can take this same concept and the words and the verbiage and put it in place where the homeowners understand. You can't skip a step. Always start out with their window as the existing problem. They know their window. It has credibility. It's mine. I don't like it, but it's mine. You know, don't talk shit about, you can tell that there's something about the ugly baby. So they own that. And don't be afraid about it. Say, that's what, all this is done. You don't say it's, you dummy, do you see this is what happens with the manufacturers who've done this, and here's the So that's what I mean. If you learn to do this, your closing rate will go up. And the main thing is you're going to make more money, because you won't have to spend, even once you buy, you're not going to have to drop, this homeowner. You can, again, you're not going to get the same features, the same functionality, the same engineering design. Anderson spent almost 40 years designing this window. The next closest window, if you want to talk about this Series 2, the next closest window that they have isn't a custom-built window. It only comes in half-inch increments, so that you're left with the original problem of building an opening to fit the window. Nobody's going to tell you that, but they'll say we got the same thing. They won't, because it's not, and then you begin to show them. If somebody hasn't taken the time to show them these features, then by the very nature of the homeowner is to not trust them. I don't have to go after, I don't have to go after Debbie from RBA or XYZ from Champions. I don't have to go after any of them. I just let the facts speak for themselves. Let the product and the features or lack thereof speak for themselves. And again, pretty soon, the companies that are selling whatever will begin to just fall away. And I was telling folks, the beautiful part about this is we've eliminated everybody in the phone book. We haven't mentioned one name and haven't picked up the telephone. They've done it by themselves, by the virtue of the product that they sell.
Nice.
So that's about all I wanted to get to you guys, so that you could have a few fundamentals to work with. Again, how you integrate this into your presentation is up to you. But remember the key thing: start off with the premise that you wouldn't replace one product with another. I just use a flat tire. You can use whatever you want to. Also start off with the premise, let's just say for the sake of discussion, everybody has the same material, but now let's talk about how the window is designed and engineered. And then always do problem, solution. If you do that enough times, it becomes repetition for you, repetitive, and the homeowners are going to get it. And then when you do your demonstration and when you do your key plan, it's kind of like, holy cow. But also, you've done a price condition, and I love the part at the end. I wanted at least 10 times more energy efficient than the next closest one on the market. And the beautiful thing, it's only going to cost you 5 times less.
You gonna put a second joke in your presentation?
Yeah.
The price, they laugh. They go, Dude, I love to do that with them. And they laugh and go, yeah, I know.
Challenge them, and then they're thinking.
But so, but you've done it. I mean, you basically draw on the net, closed on them, and boom, it's right there. They will jump through hoops to get to this window. Because now they know without question that you've eliminated their objections. You showed them that the window that we have is unique to us. The design and the material that we use is unique to us. And every other feature, not only is unique to us, but every other feature that we have in the design and everything, what it's going to do for them, from an energy standpoint, from a performance standpoint, from appearance, beautiful functional window that looks like the house is built in, looks, only finding, very expensive home, multi-million-dollar homes, build that up. I don't care if you're sitting in a house that doesn't even have a
Floor.
Air conditioning?
I've been there.
That too.
A door.
It doesn't matter. We have all sold jobs that we've driven up to and you go, oh God, these people can't afford a pot to pee in or for a window to throw it out of, and they buy. There's no sin that Rodney Webb says, you do not have the right to determine who can buy these windows or afford them until you spell your name G-O-D. And we've all second-guessed ourselves and walked out of the deal with out of the house with the contract and go,
How the hell we did do
Yeah.
that?
you know how they did it? You know how you did it? It's a real simple, I know this is gonna come in a minute, it's really simple. How did you do that deal?
You didn't skip a step.
You just pitched it.
Yeah.
You did your best, and you gave everybody the equal opportunity. I believe in my heart of hearts that if I walk out of the house without a contract, I've done the homeowner a disservice.
Absolutely.
Because the old adage is, Mr. Homeowner, we've said, you're already paying for the most expensive window money can buy, you just don't have it in your house yet. But when would you like to start enjoying the benefit to the product that you're already paying for, that you've already bought? I've used that in the close a bunch of times. You're already paying for it. You can break it down into the difference. We can break down closes into, the difference between this price and that price. How long you have bought? We're going to be here from now on, or we'll be here 5 years. I don't care whatever. Break it down, reduce it to the ridiculous, the difference. Energy savings. Extra, how much more this window costs per day. Extra 35 cents a day more for this window than the next closest, that you don't want anyway. You got extra 35 cents in your pocket? You think you can swing a dollar? We say that's less than the cost. That's less than a cigarette. It costs us a cigarette a day. No, people don't smoke anymore. I spend $8 on a Starbucks cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Then you tell me you can't afford 35 cents a day? There's a lot of those you can use. Yep. Any question?
You addressed something I hadn't thought about. I've kind of been doing it just by nature. So we're going to PowerPoint, we're talking about material. But you're right, assuming we all had the same material, that window's still head and shoulders above the next guy.
A million times.
And I never thought about that. So you're sold on Fibrex, we'll show you this window. Once I get to that window, I never mentioned Fibrex again. I need to show why, if this window was vinyl and my window was vinyl, why mine's 1,000 times better than that last guy.
I would stay away from that.
I know, I never say that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
That's why I say, let's assume that everybody has the same material that we have.
right,
That we've already established that we have the best.
Right.
Well, let's assume that everybody else does too. Now let's look at the design.
even then, they don't have what we got.
Even then, they don't have it.
Right.
Because I promise you that Home Depot, we're hurting them. And they're gearing up to promote their Series 200 window more. They just are. I would if I were them. If I watch my sales continue, and they can't figure out, they'll always be playing catch up. My old adage, do it first, do it better than anybody else, and advertise the hell out of it. I've done that my whole business career. We were so far ahead of the game, people are always playing catch up. We set the bar by which everything is measured. We set prices. We are the leaders in the industry. But if we sit on our asses and just think that we've got this, a cakewalk in, we're gonna lose until we recognize what we have and learn how to sell these features and the benefit to the homeowner and make that difference. So yes, exactly. Any other questions that anybody has?
How do you feel about doing the heat lamp on their existing window in their house, which sometimes is convenient, sometimes that house is filthy and you can't find an electrical outlet to begin with, and then you gotta move over and have to step over some trash cans to get outside. How important is it to do that? Or use the glass pieces in your kit?
I just used the pieces that we had in the kit. I stayed away from the homeowner's existing windows.
Because sometimes
I
they
bet it's backfire.
They're good.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
Well, because some of them do have
Yeah.
a real hard coat low E, and it works a little bit, but, and I don't want that to bite me, I know without question what I'm showing them. If I take a leap of faith and hope that they don't have it, then, That's not a risk that I'm willing to take.
Sometimes they draw you in and ask you to do it.
Yeah.
I had that
That's
one
how I
that
do it.
Put it on my window, I'm like, well, hell, let's do it.
1974 house, the crap, I'm saying.
Two things, I mean, when you're walking around the house and it's hot, you touch the window.
There you
and
go.
Heat, you're in no fear.
You're safe.
And if they do have low heat, in about 10 seconds they feel it. But if they do, I'm gonna do what he said. I use my glass piece that I carry and
Well, the other
This is
reason.
what you got.
The other reason I use the glass pieces that I carry is because, at that point, I really don't care what they have. Now I've already pretty much sold against what they have. I don't want to, I don't want to blur the edges. I want to just use what I have in my case, because I know what it is.
Right. It's definite.
And because that's the best you're gonna get that's out there. I mean, now we're not gonna go unless you keep what you got, because actually you got a pretty good low E glass on there. Why go down that road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got samples, use them,
Right.
and it's easier that way. You've got it all right there. You've got a captured audience. If you want to use their existing window, that's up to you. I wouldn't do it, and I didn't, just because I've been bit in the ass before. It only takes one big bite out of the ass before you don't do that again.
I've been bitten, and it's been a few times there. What's my window feel like? When
So,
it works, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I guess I have a question about verbiage, and sometimes I slip this in. When I'm killing vinyl, and understanding that our biggest competitor is apathy, the homeowner, keeping the status quo, keeping what they already have, I will sometimes say when I'm killing vinyl, I would do nothing before I bought this vinyl window and put it in your house, if I were you, Mr. Homeowner. And
That's if the apathy closed later, which I'm not against that. I don't know. Todd,
I
what do you
wanna
think?
hear you finish where you're going.
well, that's the end of my thought. But, I mean, literally, as I'm killing vinyl, it grows when it gets hot. It expands, it warps, it bows, it basically melts. And then you show in the PowerPoint presentation of that melted corner
But
window.
when you make a.
Be perfectly honest,
You're the same.
What?
Go ahead,
But
Debbie, I was
when you
gonna
make
say
a
the same
suggestion,
thing.
and they don't draw the same conclusion, they think you're telling them what to do, and that they don't have a brain to do their own thing. So it's kind of like, again, making them say, would you, when you're doing the vinyl, would you put this in the house, instead of saying, if I was you, Mr. Homeowner, I wouldn't do it. They don't give a shit what you think.
That's right. And I was gonna say the exact same thing.
is that your take, Mr. Cashion?
I wouldn't use that phrase, because subconsciously you're saying,
And I don't know that I do it intentionally.
You're like,
Yeah, I don't wanna-
Yeah, don't be a dumbass.
Here's my take is, I don't wanna add any options. If I say, well, I would do this before I would do this, so now that becomes an option. I hadn't really thought about keeping what I got after all these others.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
I don't wanna make it easy for them to, here's the key to the door that you can get out of when I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were taught was, when you go through there and you've done what you've done on vinyl, just say, hey, Andrew, now that you understand the properties and limitations of vinyl, is that something you'd actually consider putting in your house? Or would you want to put that in your home? Let them say no, because of course they're gonna say no. It's
And
just-
even if they say, now that I'm thinking about this whole process, even if they say I might, that used to make me cringe, and I'm like, I'm screwed. But you're really not, because it's not just about material now, it's about the engineered window too.
Well, I would, and I'd take your part, Debbie, one step. If somebody said, well, I might, I would ask them, well, really, well, what makes you say that? I just want to hear what, because if
Price.
well, I haven't told you price. And you get these I'll tell you right now, if you pay more than about $150 for one of these plastic windows, you pay too much. Because you and I could walk down to Home Depot right now, and I'll take you back in the bin, you can give them about $35 a piece. Pay about $50 a piece to have installed, and you got a vinyl window. Well, it's all near $500, $600 window. Yeah, if you pay more than about $100, $150 a piece, you pay too much money. That's a dirty little secret they won't tell you. So if somebody says that they'll consider, or I might, I'm gonna ask them. I'm not gonna say, well, why? I would ask, well, really, well, what makes, just like, would you be, what makes you say that? Make them defend their statement.
On the same note, I use tires in that scenario. I go, probably buy a $20 tire. You're not gonna be surprised when you skid off the road or have it flat. You and I both know you don't want a $20 tire. And I kind of use that same analogy.
Anything like that along those lines will work for you as you do your deal. But once I close a door or eliminate an objection in my mind's eye, I want them to keep it closed. And that's why, Andrew, I wouldn't make that statement. So, I wanted to share with you one more thing about a close. Let's put the window on the back burner for a minute. And when we start talking to homeowners about price, or payments, or this and that, if you get in a homeowner, this is just a completely little side note, little tidbit that has made me a lot of money over the years. And it's amazing how simple and how effective it is. Because you get homeowners who, when you do a job like this, does it price your payment well, and this and that, well, we didn't really consider that, because we weren't gonna do anything now, and you have those objections, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, when you normally do a project like this, would you just write a check, or would you, well, I don't know. And you've all heard, I'm not sure, I don't know. And then you're trying to think around, how am I gonna overcome that objection? Has anybody been there before? Okay. And so you start selling again, right?
No.
Hold on, Tom.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah, that's it. The natural tendency is to start selling again. If you would learn this, if you did know. Well, I don't know. We hadn't thought about it. Well, if you did know. Well, if we did, probably we'd just write, there you go. Well, we probably have, that's it. That's all we need. It's amazing how you just open up that one and then, but here's the thing. That much is all they need to get out the door, but it's also, that's how close you are to selling a deal. And you don't have to get, we're not selling anymore. Just we hadn't really thought about it, and you're the first estimate, and da 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 da. Well, if you did know, how much? What did you have budgeted for the job? Did you set aside a budget? No, we didn't really set aside. Well, if you did know, well, probably around, probably about 300. And they give it to you about $300 a month. There you go. That's it. That's all they need. And you don't know that. Well, they do. They don't know how to get. They don't know how to get a response out. They just don't. They want to. But they really don't know, because it's just that's if you didn't know. That one phrase right there has made me a fortune. And I've taught it to a lot of people over the years. And they'll come back to me, you know what, I did that the other day, and it works. And I do it all the time. Because I don't want to get, our whole presentation doesn't revolve around pressuring or twisting arms. It's about educating, giving people the information that they need to make the right decision, so that when the decision time comes, they're ready. And right now is the time to make the decision. We got the best price, I would say, my old pappy always told me, if you wait until all the lights are green before you head to town, you'll never get off the couch. Here we go. You say you like it, you want it, you can, you can stock and take the bread and butter off your table. Timing doesn't get any better, plus you get an opportunity to save an extra minute. So you do that. You can also do that up to when you do a drop. Look, I do the house deal, throw my hands up, I'm done. And then so you can use a culmination of those. Would you jump out? We don't make snap decisions. Would you jump out of an airplane without a parachute?
I don't know.
What if it was sitting still on the ground? Then all of a sudden, see, that one piece of information makes all the difference in the decision, yes or no. So all we need to do is find out what fits for you, because you want to be comfortable with your decision, don't you?
That was on the runway on fire.
Some of you have heard me say this more than a couple times. But this is all about how we carry our mannerisms in the house, how we address a homeowner. It's not confrontational. Be careful when you get into closing things like that. Here's a problem that you guys will run into, because I did, still do, is I know the answer to the question that's coming out of your mouth before you finish with the question. And so my tendency will be to interrupt you before you're finished, or be right there, jump on the response with the answer, rather than go, that's a good question. Well, if you did know, just like that. Now, I've given that question or that statement that they've had some credibility. It's called the power of pause. And then ask a question. And that way, it's not like, okay, I had the answer before you started talking. but we're gonna give you the courtesy of acknowledging it. And let your, because how many times have you said shit that comes out of your mouth and go, well, that didn't really come out the way I wanted it to. No, not very often. Huh?
Yeah.
All, every day. Well, how about how about understanding the psychology of the homeowner too? They might say stuff that comes out of their mouth. They don't really mean it that way, but that's just their natural reaction. Like I said, when let's back up and talk about canvas or proximity marketing. The beautiful thing about that is they will vomit every piece of information, every objection they've given you the playbook right at the front door. Rather than trying to overcome those objections, take them, run with them, and sell them. Because once you get down to the price, they've given you everything. You don't have to chase them. That's why I like them, those leads. You have it then. Power pause. Think about it, process it, let it go. There's a time to answer the question. And right now is not. And maybe 10 seconds is, or 5 seconds, or an hour after you're done with your presentation.
If you apply that to what you do in your own personal house, right, the power of pause, you're ready with that answer, like I said, before they get the question in your mouth. You're arguing with your wife. You say something and she rebuttals before you're thinking, she ain't listening to me. She wants her point on. You're doing that with the homeowner. You need to make them realize that.
Yeah.
Because I'm in sales. I'm ready for that question.
We've all done that in our own house, and the question I would have to ask is, how's that working for you? You know,
That wedding band?
it's still that, would you rather be right, or would you rather go to the bank?
Right.
The bank right now.
And with my wife, it's always, I'm sorry, honey, I'm selfish, I'm shallow, I'm self-centered, I can't help it, it's something I'm working on, and you're right. Help me, if you would help me with that in the future, You think I do that?
Wow. I'm sorry.
Let's
Now
get
she's like, you're so full of shit.
I want her
so better go
version.
back.
What a load of horseshit. But I would get it.
That's what I'm trying to tell Jason, I said, this is what you, try to remember that, it won't work. But no, I do, sometimes I get with my wife, I said, yeah, I can't help it, it's a guy thing, we're shallow, we're selfish, we're self-centered, I can't help it, it's in my nature. So just kind of, give me a break here. And she it takes her thunder. She hates it when I do that. but I do it sometimes. And she gets real pissed off at me because how she's come on, fight with me. I'm fine with that. You win. I can't help myself.
Try saying that some of these
Follow my sword, your sword, anybody's.
some of these shortcomings that prevented me from getting a better wife.
That'll work for you.
I would not recommend saying that.
He doesn't have
Give you a
wedding
quick
ring.
opportunity.
See how he does, yeah.
If I improved all those things you want me to improve on, I have a much better.
All right, y'all got about 5 more minutes of my time before I got to hit the road to Alabama. So
And does anybody want to do a quick role play with him on one feature of the window that where he ties this all together with the role play?
Not me, that's not as important to me. There's other things I'm thinking of, like these things that are more important to me. I think everyone here is good on the window demo. It's these little one-liners and these little pauses, those are the things that I'm benefiting the most from. I speak for myself. I'm self-centered.
That's right. You break.
Well, I'm just saying that the topic of the meeting was reverse engineering and to really see the concept in action where he ties during the warm-up or during the walk-around, during the connect the pain points, and he's taken to their window and they say, this is really bugging me, this is a problem, this needs to be fixed, and he not manipulated. He was able to get the customer to admit there's a problem and it needs to be fixed. To tie that to, and here's a vinyl window, here's a fiberglass window, you can see how these would be giving you the same problem. Connect that to, and here's the feature that the engineering department put into this Anderson window, so you won't have, for those three to be interconnected, that's the art of what we're talking about today.
Well, I want to stress that you got to, the words that I use are pretty, the fundamental reason, The manufacturers haven't addressed the fundamental reason. I mean, your window's leaking for this, and so I use that because that gets down there. The lowest fundamental is cost. So does everybody remember the 2 premises that we start out with? When you start your window demo or whatever, when you start to bring out the comparing their window to the competitors. What's the premise that you're using, the first one?
Materials were the
Oh,
same.
yeah.
Let's,
Everything
okay.
the same.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So just for the sake of discussion here, let's assume that everybody has the same material. Okay, that's the first one. And then, what's the other one? Replacing
One problem, same problem.
with the
wouldn't
exact
know
same
it.
problem,
Right, you wouldn't knowingly do that.
right? And then you talk about the next one, and the words I use is the fundamental reason that the windows are leaking in the, this right here.
And address the problem to begin with.
They haven't addressed the fundamental reason that your windows are leaking in the first place, so you're replacing one problem with the exact same problem, and you wouldn't do that knowingly, would you? Okay, if you remember those three things, and you remember, and just, again, I'll stress to you, as you guys, that's been a million years since I've done a window demo, it feels like, but there, all the different features in glass and everything that you do when you talk about the windows, that's a feature of design that no one else has. And bring it up, about, especially about the corners and how everything is designed. No one else has it from an appearance standpoint. They just don't. This window becomes so much more fun to sell when you know what you're selling, and especially what everybody else has. So, there's a million analogies. You can buy a Corvette that's got 150 horsepower, you could, or one of those new ones that's got, how many horsepower does the new Corvette have?
600.
Maybe 600, something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so, would you, even if.
ZR1 LT3?
Yeah,
Pedal to
so
the
would you
metal.
want the Corvette that's got the 150 horsepower, or do you want to get the one that, followed by a Corvette?
Exactly.
So, there's a million analogies that you can use, but if you'll just get that thought in your head when you're doing this, you've got all these features and benefits here, but you need to make sure that you tie them, what they do for the homeowner, but, again, tie to the problems to their existing window, which they know, and the competitors. So that basically is the reverse engineering in a nutshell, and a couple little tidbits on closes and statements and little tricks of the trade. How to use windows in the house.
Cool.
And, I guess that's about it, unless anybody has any other questions.
Enjoy